Welcome to the Rochester Sentinel newsroom and our webcast interview with Indiana Governor Mitch Daniels. What are your chances on local government reform this time around?
I think they're pretty good, although there may well be, as there were on the first set of changes that we succeeded on, some compromises or local option approaches, things like that. I wouldn't be surprised to hear those kind of ideas come up, but I do think that the case is so strong and it's a little better understood, again, with the newspapers of the state putting some sunshine on it. A lot of new members who are very reform-oriented getting elected last fall. Chances haven't, let me say they haven't been any better.
Do you have any other thoughts on local government to share with us?
No, I think we've got a pretty good list of questions here.
You've suggested that lawmakers focus on finances and jobs for a while rather than some of the emotionally charged issues like abortion and gay marriage. Have your spirited colleagues on the Republican Party taken that to heart?
First of all, when I answered a question about this, I was talking about the national context. I was talking about the fact that unlike Indiana, the federal government is in a very dangerous fiscal position. It threatens our country in a way that alarms me very much. It threatens our economy, it threatens our liberty, eventually it threatens our national security. And I simply said that, to me, it is a national priority, so big that we ought to try to get people together who don't agree about other things, and that it wouldn't hurt if we all just united to work on that and the big changes it will require. I wasn't really talking about Indiana. Bill, I happen to be a supporter of, ours is the most pro-life administration, everybody agrees, in the history of the state, for instance. There will be some bills move, and I'll be glad to see it. They'll be fine in the Indiana General Assembly. I don't think they will get in the way of other important work that we've been discussing here. So I was really addressing the national context, where I think sometimes they do.
Does Indiana have a brain drain problem? How are you going to fix that?
We've been working on it for 6 years. I think we have a brain game going on right now. It's funny you would ask. Everywhere I've been today, I've run into somebody, not all of them young, but many of them young, who have moved into the state or come here to school and stayed here. It's been a very delightful day, at least anecdotally. We also know that for the first time in a reversal, in the last few years, more people moved into Indiana than moved out. We also know from the latest census data that Indiana grew its population faster than any state from Iowa to Maine. Not as fast as a lot of Sun Belt states and western states, but faster than any state anywhere near us in our part of the country. So I do think things, there are some signs of hope, and it's the most important thing we can keep our eye on. We need talent in this state from anywhere. We need to import it as well as keep what we have. And we need to develop the talent we have a lot better. That's what our whole education program is about. And I feel somewhat encouraged by the fragments of evidence that we have. I just hope that they prove to be real and lasting.
What do you see as the Hoosier State's top 3 environmental challenges, and what do you see as our top 3 environmental success stories?
Let's see. Top challenge, using the coal we have in an environmentally friendly way. We are sitting on more BTUs of energy than Saudi Arabia, but we aren't always using it. But we're spending $1 billion as Hoosiers, and you are as a ratepayer, to buy coal from somewhere else. So finding environmentally friendly ways, which we are making headway on, to use our coal, I think is certainly a good one. I could say it's a challenge. It happens to be, I think, an opportunity we're seizing, protecting some of our most valuable spaces. We've been breaking records for the protection of wetlands and other sensitive areas in Indiana. It's very, very exciting the prospects. We will soon. We've announced in the last 2 or 3 years the 3 biggest projects in Indiana State history. But seeing them through, I'm determined to do as much as I can in the time remaining to me to see that these things are protected for all time. The other biggest challenge that we faced, and we're almost through it, was when we came to office. There were over 400 expired permits. These are permits to pollute or to emit. Some of them were as old as 20 years. And we have been working relentlessly. We're down to 4. And I think we'll soon have those done. Now, why is this a big issue? Because when you rewrite those permits, you drop substantially the amount of pollutant or effluent that the business is allowed to put in the air or the water. That's why businesses don't yell too loud. They're happy to live under the old one as long as the state would let them. Because when we write a new one, it always is a lot tighter. And that's been a big challenge we've been working on from the first day. When we get that very last one, when the backlog is completely done, I'm going to have a big celebration and thank our environmental people. And if we were ever able to total up the amount of emissions and effluents reduced by all those 400 or 500 permits, it'll be a massive number if we can do it. So there's another one that's a work in progress, but getting close.